Tahniah. Siaran langsung ini dibawakan khas kepada anda oleh Akademi YouTuber Malaysia, sebuah inisiatif e-didik Malaysia dan Kelab Guru Malaysia. Tumpukan perhatian anda. Siaran langsung akan bermula sebentar lagi. Link sijil akan diberikan di hujung siaran ini. Pastikan diisi dalam tempoh yang ditetapkan. Terima kasih.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Good evening and hi to all the teachers, parents and the wonderful students. So welcome to Pusat Tuisyen Academy YouTuber, a joint venture with e-didik and Kelab Guru Malaysia with hashtag bermula percuma, selamanya percuma. Okay, before we proceed, let's begin our session with the recitation of Umur Kitab Al-Fatihah. And for the non-Muslim, please recite your prayers according to your religion. Okay, how is everyone doing today? My prayer that everyone is in the best of health and ready to proceed with today's class. Okay, let me introduce myself first. Okay, I am Madam Rosmaya as your moderator for today, and I am a Form 6 Physics teacher at SMJK Yuhua, Kajang, Selangor. And together with us is Teacher Im, okay, our host controller. Okay, she is from College Tingkatan 6 Tapah Perak. And our observer is Teacher Naini from Pusat Tingkatan 6 SMK Sultan Sulaiman, Kuala Terengganu. Okay, their job is to ensure our today's session running smoothly. Yes. Okay, and the most important person today is our presenter, Teacher Zana. Okay. She is a very experienced retired teacher from SMK Tengku Ampuan Dura Negeri Sembilan. So, let us give a warm welcome to our presenter. Okay. So, for the record, we are now live on Teacher Zanaria channel. So, as a sign of support to Teacher Zanaria for the hard work in preparing today's lesson, so please subscribe her channel. Okay. And not forgetting also to Teacher Im and Teacher Naini channel too. Okay, as usual, the lesson will last approximately 1 hour. Okay, the certificate link and the credit claim link will be given at the end of this session. And remember that you can only use e-didik email or more email to claim the certificate. So for credit claim, you need to collect the 1 letter and 4-digit codes, which will be announced separately during our class today. So be sure to follow the class up until the end to get the complete code for the credit claim. Okay, I would also like to remind students to use appropriate language and also use appropriate profile picture if you wish to post comments in the chat box. So I'm pretty sure all of the students here are excellent students who will uphold a positive classroom environment. So please give your full cooperation in making this class a lively one. Okay, stay focused, and if you have any questions, please write on the chat box. And Teacher Zanaria will try to provide you with the answers. So before I give to Teacher Zanaria to present, okay, I announce the first digit code for credit claim. Okay, the digit is A5. Okay, letter A and number 5. Okay. So without further ado, please welcome Teacher Zanaria to start your presentation.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Madam Rosmaya. Okay, firstly, I would like to thank all the my colleagues here for joining me for today's class. Okay, without them, I think this live session will not be running smoothly. Right, give me a few seconds just to introduce myself. Okay, as what Madam Rosmaya has said. Okay, I'm a retired teacher from SMK Tengku Ampuan Dura from Seremban Negeri Sembilan. Okay, my full name is Zanaria Abdullah. So this is my YouTube channel. So please visit. You can always type just Cikgu Zana channel and will bring you to my channel. All right. Right. Okay, I would like to share. Okay, my other colleagues. Okay, my other team members in the pre-U lesson collaboration. We have all the teachers. We are united to produce videos for all of you. Okay, we have the chemistry group, okay, head by Cikgu Shanun. Okay, the playlist you can obtain the playlist in the video description below. Okay, and then we have the biology group. Okay, there's Cikgu Naini here. Cikgu Naini is our observer for today. She's part of the team. Okay, and we have physics group led by Madam Rusmaya, our moderator. And of course, we have the Peraccountan and Economy group, okay, led by Madam Fizi. So this is unique about us, okay. We have also Peraccountan and Economy. And last but not least, the Maths group, okay. Now we have Teacher Im as our leader, and of course, Teacher Zana, Teacher Zana, yeah. Okay, right. So let's look at today's lesson. Okay, today's topic is graphing simple functions, and we're going to use transformation to graph the functions. Okay, the idea that the whole objective for me to introduce this topic is because later on you'll need this skill in solving area under a graph and also volume of solid revolutions. Okay, for the Maths M, you'll be learning this in chapter 4 and 5. For the Maths D, you'll be learning this again. You'll be using this skill again in semester 2 in calculus. Okay, so that's why it's important that you must know how to graph functions. Okay, so today will be easy. So we're going light and easy because there's no calculation. It's just all about transforming the graphs. Okay, let's look at what type of transformation is used when we want to graph functions. Okay, altogether there's only 3. The first one is translation. Okay, sometimes I would prefer to use shifting. Okay, I would prefer to use shifting, it's the same. Okay, or stretching and shrinking. Some teachers would use the term enlargement, pembesaran. Okay, next we have reflection. Okay, so we are only going to use only 3 transformations to graph the functions. Okay, let's look one by one. Okay, translation. So how do we translate a graph? Okay, let's look at the first function, h of x, which is equivalent to f minus c. Okay, if you see here, x minus c is grouped together. Okay, see the connection or the relationship between fx minus c and f of x. We add another minus c here. So what does it mean? So it means that you need to shift the graph of f of x, c units to the right. So it's the opposite, okay? Students, is opposite. Okay, if we have another function, f of x plus c, now we have plus c. So what do you need to do? Okay, you need to shift the graph, c units to the left horizontally. So we go opposite. So actually it's fx minus negative c minus negative c, so we go to the left. Okay, and then we have f of x, just f of x on its own minus c. So what must you do? You shift the graph vertically, c units down. Okay, and then if you have f of x plus c, what must you do? You need to shift the graph vertically, c unit up. Can you remember all that? By looking at the function, you know what you must do. Either you shift to the right or left or up and down. So look at the function. Okay, let's look at the first example here. Okay, when we want to do graphing function, you have to get to know the function. Okay, so what is the characteristic of this function? This is parabola. The vertex 0, 0 is the minimum point. And it's an even function. Even function means when you reflect across the x-axis, across the y-axis, it has the same shape. And then, nak tak nak, whether you like it or not, when we're talking about graphing, we have to talk about domain and range. That's why the first lesson was domain and range. So for this graph, the domain is the real number, the range is y greater equals 0. Okay, now, I have 4 function here. So how do we graph them? So we're going to use transformation, shifting to graph them. Okay, the first one, x minus 4 squared. Okay, this is the parent function. We call it parent function. X minus 4 squared is called the offspring. Okay, it's called the offspring. So we shift it 4 units to the right. Okay, make sure you note down the point 4 here to show that you have shifted the graph 4 units right. And the domain remain the same. Next function, x plus 4 squared. Okay, notice that x plus 4 is grouped together. Instead of x squared, we have x plus 4 squared. So we shift the graph to the left 4 units. Okay, and the domain and range remain the same as the parent function. So what about y x squared minus 4? So x squared is f of x, this form. Minus 4 means you shift the graph 4 units down. Okay, this time the domain is the same, but the range is for all y greater equal -4. That's why the first lesson I purposely make sure you know how to identify domain and range. Okay, next, x squared plus 4. So we have the parent function here, y equal x squared. Okay, then you shift 4 unit up. And we have the domain which is R, but the range has changed to y greater equal 4. Okay, this is translation. Okay, so what about stretching and shrinking or compressing? Some say enlargement is the same. Okay, let's look at this function. H of x equals c, a constant c multiplied by the function f of x. So what must we do? Okay, if c is greater than 1, okay, we need to stretch vertically, okay, stretch vertically with a scale factor of c. But if c is a fraction, you need to compress it vertically, okay, compress it vertically with a scale of c. Okay, let's look at the example. Quadratic curve again. So we have y equal to x squared. So c is 2. So what must we do? We stretch it vertically. Okay. So how do we stretch it? Okay, kita bawa dia ke atas. And then next we have y equal half x squared. So what must you do? You compress it vertically. That's why I like to use the word compress. Okay. So notice that when c is 2, it becomes closer to the y-axis, and c is half, it becomes closer to the x-axis. So just remember this, okay? When there's a constant is more than 1, is closer to the y-axis. Ingat satu saja. So kalau fraction, it's closer to the x-axis. Okay, next, if we have f in one group, c times x. Anything that happened to x, meaning that we have to do horizontal transformation. Okay, some people say it's the x transformation, but I like to use the word horizontal. So again, if you have c greater than 1, you compress the graph with a scale factor of 1 over c. If c is a fraction, you stretch horizontally with a scale factor of 1 over c. So it becomes c lah balik kan. Okay, let's look. Okay, here we have y equal x squared. It's not a good example because it has the same shape. Okay, we have 2x squared. Notice that I put a bracket 2x, meaning that 2 is multiplied by x, the whole thing squared. Okay, so it becomes closer to the y-axis actually. But what happened here is that we shrink it, compress it. Kita compress the, okay, horizontally, okay, with a scale factor of 1 over 2. But if you have y equal 1 over x squared, your c is a fraction, okay, you stretch it horizontally with a scale factor of 2. So it gives you the same shape actually. So it doesn't matter, okay, as long as you sketch it, one is nearer to the y-axis, one is nearer to the x-axis, okay? Okay, that is stretching and shrinking. Now let's look at reflection. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I did mention just now when we talk about graphing, we have to always mention the domain and the range, okay? So here again, the domain is the real number and the range is y greater equal 0. Okay, Muhammad Syafiq, okay. Good evening, Syafiq. Okay, next, reflection. Okay, again here, the function f of x, there's a negative in front. Okay, it's a negative 1. So what do we need to do to the graph? We just reflect vertically. So anything that happened in front of f of x is always the vertical transformation, or some teachers say the y transformation. You reflect vertically across the x-axis. Maknanya you kena cross the x-axis. But, okay, here, example, this is the square root function, a radical function. Okay, here domain is for all x greater equals 0 and the range is y greater equals 0. So what happened when you reflect vertically? Okay, here means you reflect vertically, you reflect across the x-axis. Pantul ya, pantulan. Okay, so this is the function negative square root x. Okay, notice that now our domain is for all x greater than 0, still the same. But for the range, okay, the curve is under the x-axis, so starting from 0 onwards. Okay, so next, here, notice that f, negative x in one bracket, so must be reflected horizontally across the y-axis. Okay, so we have here the parent function. So we reflect across the y-axis, meaning that you have to cross the y-axis. Okay. So the domain is for all x less than equal 0 and the range is for all y greater equal 0. Okay. Later on, you will see why I'm using this as an example for reflection. Why didn't I use quadratic curve? Okay, now, so normally in exam, they bagi all in one, okay? They tak bagi just like that one by one. They will combine all the transformation. And if your luck is not good, all the 3 transformations are combined. Okay, but don't worry because you look at A here, what does A stand for? It's a vertical stretch or compress. So if A greater than 1, it stretches. If A less than 1 or between 0 and 1 fraction, it compresses. But if A is negative, it flips the graph upside down. Okay. Next, we have B. B is the horizontal. The lights is blinking me. I can't see my cursor. Okay. Okay. B is the horizontal stretch or compression. Again, if B is greater than 1, it compresses. Diterbalik and reverse with the vertical. Okay. But if B is a fraction, it stretches, okay? When B is negative, it flips the graph from left to right. So understand that. Kalau A negative, up and down. B negative or positive, left to right. Okay, next we have plus C. Plus C means, okay, it's a horizontal shift. Okay, notice that our B is being factorized. It must be factorized so that you can see the shift, whether it's shift to the right or shift to the left. Then we have the vertical shift, D. Okay, so D is always easy to identify because it's always at the back. Okay, so it's either shift upward, shift downward. Okay, but there's another method later on. I will introduce you when we do the example. Okay. So today is going to be a very relaxing because it's all about sketching. Graphing, sorry, it's not sketching. Okay, now we have the cubic function. Okay, f of x equal x cubed is the parent function. Okay, when we want to graph function, like I said just now, you have to get to know the function, especially the characteristic of the function. Okay, so you look at the shape of f of x equal x cubed. Okay, and domain is for all x in R, the range is for all y in R. Okay, so what is the characteristic? It has one point of inflection, okay, increasing from negative infinity to 0. You stop at 0, then continue from 0 to infinity. Okay, the end behavior means the curve, okay, when x tends to infinity, the y tends to infinity. Here, when x tends to minus infinity, the y tends to minus infinity. The behavior of the curve, okay, the end behavior. So in other words, the graph is a continuous graph. And the uniqueness about this graph is that it is an odd function. You remember what is an odd function? Okay. Okay, let's recall, okay. The odd function is, okay, you look at my left right hand side, f negative x is the same as negative f of x. It means that when the function is rotated 180 degrees about the origin, it remains unchanged. But normally I would use the statement f negative x is the same as negative f of x. What does this mean in transformation? When you reflect horizontally, it's the same as you reflect vertically. It has the same shape. But for even function, when you reflect horizontally, it's the same as f of x. That's why cikgu tak bagi. That's why I didn't give you this example just now. Okay, because when I reflect across the y-axis horizontally, it will give you the same shape. So you don't see the reflection actually. Okay. So this is an even function definition. This is the odd function definition. Okay, for cubic function, just now we have f of x kan. So now I'm just showing you, it's the same thing, but make sure you get familiarized with the function for cubic. Okay, we have a, b being factorized, x plus c, the whole thing group, cube plus d. So as usual, this is the vertical stretch or compression. Sama je, b is the horizontal stretch or compression, c is the shift left to right, d is the shift upward, downwards. Okay. There's another method that I mentioned just now. If you don't want to factorize, boleh. Okay. We have bx plus c, the whole thing cube. So how to understand where to shift? Okay. Whatever makes the expression equal 0 is the horizontal shift. For example here, bx plus c equals 0. So x equal negative c over b. So negative c over b means is shift to the right or left? Left, dia terbalik ya. Because we look at the values of x, you shift it to that direction. Okay, so it's not the same. So you choose which method is suitable. Okay, let's try the first example. Don't worry if
Teacher
we...
Zana, Teacher
Yes.
Zana, I think it's better we announce first before we start
Yes.
the
Okay.
So I'm going to announce the second digit code, okay, for the credit claim. Okay, the code is number 3. Okay, the code is number 3. Okay, Teacher Zana, you may proceed.
Okay, thank you. So don't worry if we could not finish all the question, but main thing is that you understand the types of transformation and how we apply the transformation when graphing function. Okay, the first question, for those who just joined me and didn't get the PDF exercise, you can look at the chat box. Okay, the first link was given, sorry. Okay, next. Okay, the first question, I gave you a simple one. Okay, we have 1 over 4x cubed plus 2. So how it is related to the parent function? Okay, gx is the offspring. Okay, fx is the parent function. So here I already shown to you how it is related. 1 over 4 multiplied by f of x and plus 2. So let's describe the relationship between gx and f of x. So gx is actually related with f of x. How? By compressing vertically with factor 1 over 4. That's how we explain, yeah? Shifted 2 units upwards, or you can say translated 0, 2. Okay, translated 0, 2. Okay, let's look. This is the basic or the parent's function x cubed. Okay, compress vertically, meaning that you compress it, so satu ke bawah, satu ke atas, ya, meaning that it has to be closer to the x-axis. Okay, dalam exam tak perlu tunjuk the compressing, but make sure when you sketch the curve, it must be close to the x-axis, okay? So this is 1 over 4x cubed. So what happened to 1 over 4x cubed? We need to shift 2 units upwards. So, or translate it 0, 2. So you translate the graph. Okay, and one more thing, when you do the graphing of the function, if possible, try to state the x and y intercept to get the full mark. Although it's not many marks, only 1 or 2 marks, but obviously say the extra 1 marks, everything is correct. And then the domain as usual is R, and the range of G is also R, okay? Okay, B, negative x cubed minus 2. So how does this mx related to f of x? Okay, is negative f of x minus 2. Or we can translate it as f negative x minus 2 because why? This is an odd function. So you can reflect it vertically, you can reflect it horizontally, it has the same shape. So how do you describe the transformation? Okay, so we say that m of x is related to f of x by reflecting f of x vertically or horizontally, and you shift 2 units downwards. Okay, let's see how do we do this. Okay, this is your parent function x cubed. We reflect it vertically. Here we use negative f of x here. Okay, we reflect it vertically. So this is the shape. Okay, notice that here I put negative x cubed here. And then if you reflect it horizontally, okay, here I put fy negative x bracket cube. Okay, so it has the same shape. Then you shift it 2 units downwards. So again, make sure you state the x and y intercept. Okay, x and y intercept to get the full mark for graphing. So domain is R and the range is also R. Okay, see, we have negative 2x plus 1 cubed. So how is this related to our parent function f of x? So I factorize, I take out the negative 2 because that is my b. Okay, so when I take out the negative 2, that is my b. Okay, so we compress horizontally with factor. Remember, 2 is more than 1, 1 over 2. And then x minus half, sorry, I've got this a negative in front here. Okay, you reflect it horizontally. How do I know? Because the negative 2 is combined with x. Ya, dia tak terpisah, dia tercantum. Okay, so you shift half unit to the right or you translate half 0. Okay, let's look. Okay, this is the parent function. Compress it horizontally. So compress horizontally dari ni horizontally kita ke dalam. So it becomes nearer to the y-axis. Okay, reflect it horizontally across the y-axis. Ada kata x transformation, up to you. Whatever term your teacher uses, okay? So I label here y, I already named it y equal negative 2 in bracket cube. Next, you translate half unit to the right. That's why cikgu suka factorize because of minus half, I know that I have to translate it to the right half unit. Okay, so this is our function h. Okay, if you don't want to factorize, senang saja. Okay, you look at here, negative 2x plus 1. You equal it to 0. So we have x equal half. So x equal half is the direction that you must go. Half to the right. So ada cikgu ajar macam tu. Okay, so you stick to which method you prefer. Okay, next. Domain and range is still the same. Okay, lastly, okay, now they combine all. There's stretching, there's reflection, there's shifting to the right, there's shifting downwards. Okay, banyak ya. By looking at the function, you can tell what transformation is involved. Okay, so here I already given negative 2 here. So we have h of x is related to f of x by stretching vertically with factor 2, reflected vertically, the negative sign in front here vertically, and then shifted 1 unit to the right, and then translate 1 unit downwards. So translation negative 1, negative 1. Okay, let's see. This is the parent function. You stretch vertically with factor 2, so nearer to the y-axis. Macam hari tu saya straight away buat ya, y equal 2x squared sebab you don't have to show in the exam how you stretch it, meaning the shape is correct. And then you reflect it vertically. Okay, that is the shape. And you shift 1 unit to the left, okay, and 1 unit downwards. Okay, so notice that the origin here, 0, 0, you shift it to the left, negative 1, and you shift it 1 unit, negative 1. And here the y-axis becomes 0, negative 3. Actually, the purple line Here is 0, negative 2. So when you shift 1 unit downwards, it becomes 0, negative 3. Okay, so this is the final graph. So in exam, they don't look at the method, they just look at the end product. So if you can do it quickly, because you see negative means it should be reflected straight away. You can sketch the graph or graph the function. So domain is range, real number, and the range is also the real number. Okay, you want to have a break or what?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, announce the code. Don't worry, students, if you don't finish. I know I give them a lot to do. Okay, can we have the iklan?
Iklan.
Ayah?
Yes.
Patut.
Advertisement.
Berita baik untuk semua. Kini Akademi YouTuber memperkenalkan sistem mata gancaran kredit AYU untuk dikumpul. Jom ikuti kelas tuition live AYU untuk mengumpul kredit AYU dan berpeluang menebus hadiah-hadiah yang menarik. Hadiah bernilai lebih RM10,000 disediakan secara percuma untuk pelajar seluruh Malaysia. Apa tunggu lagi? Tebus ganjaran hebat ini sekarang. Layari www.academyyoutuber.com untuk maklumat lanjut.
Okay, welcome back, students. Before Teacher Zana proceed with her presentation, okay, I would like to announce the third digit code. Okay, so the third digit code is number 8. Okay, the third digit code is number 8. Okay, Teacher, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Maya. Okay, we have here Madam Fizi with us. Thank you, Madam Fizi, for all your support. Okay, I don't know, hamba Allah, dia kata repeat please for the password. I don't know. You have to ask Teacher Im for that. Okay, we start with our lesson, radical function. Okay, radical function, we have two types here. If you see the question, we have the square root x and we have the cube root x. Okay, so let's look at the characteristic of square root x. Okay, this is just a curve whereby the domain is for all x greater equal 0 and y is greater equal 0. Okay, it's increasing function. Okay, 0 to infinity. It intercepts at 0, 0. So get to know your function. It's very important. Minimum value is 0. And the behavior is that when x tends to infinity, your y tends to infinity. And it's not odd or even. Okay, it's neither odd or nor even. Okay, let's look at the first, the cube root function. Okay, the cube root function, if you look at the shape, is a S, sleeping. They call it sleeping shape. Okay, like a x cube, but now it's horizontally. Okay, and the characteristic is that the domain and range is all up. So we look here, the point of inflection is 0, 0, the origin, and the behavior at the end of the curve, x tends to infinity, f of x tends to infinity. And when x tends to negative infinity, your y tends to negative infinity. And it's also an odd function. So when you reflect vertically or horizontally, it will give you the same shape. And again, it's increasing in the same interval as the cubic curve, from negative infinity to 0, and stop at 0 and continue from 0 to infinity. So when you study function, you have to know the characteristic of the function, especially the graph of the function. Then you can sketch clearly. Okay, so again, how to transform? Senang saja. You look at the function. Okay, what is A? Okay, stretching vertically. What is B? Stretching or compression horizontally. C is shifting right or left. D is shifting up and down. Again, you can factorize, or if you don't want to factorize, make sure the expression under the radicand equals 0. Okay, so like I said, just use the value to shift. If x is negative C or B, you shift to the left. If x equals C or B, you shift to the right. Okay. Okay, let's look at the first question. H of x is negative 2 square root x minus 1. Okay, so what is the relationship of h of x with f of x? We have negative 2 F in brackets, complete, yeah? Combine X minus 3. So when you see the group X minus 3, we mean that it's shifting horizontally. Okay, shifting horizontally. Okay, the 2 in front, okay, shows that we stretch the function because 2 is outside F of X. Negative we reflect vertically. Okay, betul here. We stretch it vertically with factor 2. We reflect downwards, negative to here, and shift 3 units to the right. Okay, you don't have to follow this order. Okay, I can start by shifting it 3 units to the right because it's easier, and then I can stretch it with factor 2 vertically. Okay, and then I reflect it downwards. Okay, so this is your final graph. And notice that the domain is for all x greater equal 3 and the range is for all y less than equal 0. Okay, so that's how we do the graphing of function. But the most important thing is you know what transformation is involved so that the end product is correct. So with practice, you can sketch this easily, quickly. Okay, B. So how is this related to f of x? Okay, here I factorize it. I took out my negative 2 so that I know that it's being compressed, okay, horizontally by a factor 1 over 2 and reflect it horizontally. And I shift it 2 unit downwards. Just by looking at the function, you know what to do. Okay, or you don't want to factorize pun tak apa, just look at the function. 1 minus 2x equal to 0, x is half, meaning that you shift half unit to the right. Okay, kalau you tak nak factorize. So this is what I said just now. Reflect horizontally, compress horizontally with factor half, shift half unit to the right and 2 units downward. Or translation half negative 2. So this is the main or the parent graph. We reflect it horizontally and I compress it. For compress horizontally, it means you have to bawa ke dalam and it's closer to the y-axis. And then we shift it half unit to the right. Okay, this is not the end. Okay, we only shift it to half units to the right, but you need to shift it 2 units downwards. Okay, so this is our end product. So please make sure the points is correctly stated. 0, -1 and half, -2. Okay, the common points are stated. So domain is for all x less than equal half and for the range is y greater equal -2. Okay, this one. There's a quiz here. 1 plus square root x plus 3. Okay, I will not mention what transformation is involved, but I will show you the end product. Okay, now, can anybody of you mention which is the correct graph after transformation, after transforming it using the reflection? Ada tak reflection? Yes, there is. Ada tak shifting? Is there any shifting involved? So which is the graph, student? A or B? Okay, you can apply slowly. Square root x plus 3. So what does it mean? Okay, Chun Zi Kid. Okay, Chun Zi Kid has answered A. Well done, Chun Zi Kid. Yes, you are correct. Yeah. 1 plus, you translate 1 upwards. Square root x plus 3, it means you shift 3 units left. That's why it's -3, 1. Okay. Okay, can anybody give me the equation or the function for graph B? What is the function for graph B? It has the same y-intercept, but y is not correct. But here, the point is 3, 1. So can anybody write down the correct function for graph B? So I'm testing you not only on graphing, but by looking at the graph, you can tell the function. Can anybody write down the function? We translate 1 unit up. So how do you write that down? The parent is square root x. But here we have 3 units to the right. What do? Square root, we have square root x, yes. We carried one, too hard to type. All right, Peggy. Too hard. Okay, Chunzi, Chunzi Kid has answered it correctly. Okay, the minus, I want to see the minus actually. Yes, is 1 plus square root 3 minus x because we shift it 3 units to the right. Okay, good. ZK. Okay, Peggy, did you get that, Peggy? I hope you got it. Shamirul, 1 minus square root is 1 plus square root x minus x, 3 minus x. Zikit was correct. Tak apa, Syam, you have done it. Okay? Okay, it's 1 plus, because we shift it 1 unit upwards, so that's what it atas. Okay, here you look at the point 3, 1 here. Okay, and then we look at the point 3 here, meaning that you shift the graph, the parent graph here. There's a minus here. Oh, I forgot. Somebody was correct just now. Yeah, it's 1 minus, it's not plus. Because notice that is being reflected to the left. It's 1 minus, so it's typo error here. Graph P is 1 minus square root 3 minus x. So sorry, saya tak check. 1 minus, so you are correct, Syamirul, but the dalam is 3 minus x, yeah? So it's 1 minus square root 3 minus x. We reflect it horizontally. Okay, we reflect it. So campur. Zikid and Syamirul, what is correct? Okay, 1 minus square root 3 minus x. Okay, good. Zikid, good. Syamirul, Peggy. Okay, let's see what is done to the parents function. We shift it 3 units to the left. Okay, plus 3. And then we shift 1 unit upwards. That's why we get graph A as the answer. Okay, good. Tadi saya silap. Just now they reflect and then they shift 3 units and 1 unit upwards. Okay, good. Thank you, thank you. Nanti saya kena type. Shall I type? Kena leceh sikit lah nak close. Tak apalah, kita continue is 1 minus square root 3 minus x as the correct one. Okay, domain is for all x greater equal -3 and y greater equal 1 is the range. Okay, now we have the cube root function. The parent function is the square root, cube root x. Okay, what happened here? Can anybody describe? 1 minus 2x. What does minus 2x means? Minus x means what? Can somebody write? Minus x means you reflect. It's group. 1 minus 2x is group. So we reflect horizontally or vertically. Please write on the chat box. 1 minus 2x. Already given you here. I factorize here. Kalau tak nak factorize pun tak apa. It's just 1 minus 2x equals 0, meaning that you have shift x equal half to the right. Okay, from the factorization we can see we shift half to the right. But why is it -2 here? What does it mean? Can anybody just type? Is it reflect vertically or reflect horizontally? -2, what does it mean? It is stretch or compress? When it's involving x, it's always horizontally. Okay, -2 means it's always, okay, that's right. That's right, Shamirul. You are right. We compress horizontally, yes, with factor half because it's 2, so it's 1/2, and we reflect horizontally. So whenever it involves x, is the x transformation, horizontal. Okay, good, Sham. So let's look. We compress, so kita tarik ke dalam, so it's near to the y-axis. Okay, by a factor 2. Half. And then we reflect horizontally. -2. Oh. Betul lah tadi. Okay, right. And then we shift half unit to the right. Okay. We shift half unit to the right. So this is our function, the graph of h of x, which is related to the parent function. So this is the offspring with domain still the same, real number, and the range is still the same, r. Okay, it's the same, r. Okay, now another quiz. Which of the following graph shows y equal negative cube root x plus 2 plus 5? Okay, observe clearly. This is A, betul ke? What does plus 2 means? What does plus 5 means? What does negative means? Negative is in front of f of x. Kalau negative in front of x, it means we reflect vertically. But plus 2, what does it mean? We shift it to the right or to the left. Okay, and then plus 5, clearly is we shift it 5 units upwards. So which is the graph is correct? So clearly if we look here, we do the enumeration method, D is out. Why? Because we need to reflect it vertically. This is not D, C. Huru, C, C. Okay, let's see. Huru, yeah, that's right. So we look, okay, D is out of the question because the graph is not reflected. Okay, so it's out. Straight away, we eliminate it. It's incorrect. So it's either A, B, or C. So we look at A first. Notice that it shifted 5 to the right. It's not correct. It should be 5 upwards. So B is eliminated. And we look, sorry, A is eliminated. But we look at B, notice that, okay, we look at B, notice that it shifted 2 units to the right, but then it's plus 2. So it must be shift 2 units to the left. So B is eliminated. Hence, C is correct. That's right, Zuri, Zikit, Huri, well done class. All of you are good. Awesome. Okay. So C, good. So I don't have to explain what transformation is involved. You already have found the answer. Thank you very much. Okay, next. Kenapa dia tak jalan? Oh, here. If you look at the point 0, 0, okay, we can always look at the origin because the point of origin just now 0, 0, it shifted 2 units to the left and 5 units upwards. And we see in A, okay, that is the correct transformation involved. Okay, now rational function is a bit tedious. Why? Because we have the asymptotes. Most students tak suka rational function because of the asymptotes. Okay, so here look at the how the domain is being defined. All x in R, x cannot be 0 because that is the asymptote. Y for all y in R, y cannot be 0 because that is the asymptote. So it's important that you know the asymptote because when you shift the graph, you have to shift the asymptotes. Okay, you have to shift the asymptotes. So the end behavior, when x tends to infinity, your y approaches 0. As x tends to negative infinity, your y approaches 0. Okay, so the vertical asymptote is x equals 0, horizontal asymptote y equals 0. Yeah. Okay, so again, the same transformation involved, but you have to look at the function. What is which one is A? The A is the numerator. B is always at the bottom, like the denominator. X plus C. Whether you see X plus C, it must be in a group. Remember, plus D. Shifting, shift to the right and left. Plus D means shift upward, downwards. Okay. Look at the form of the function. It's very important. Or if you don't want to factorize, remember the denominator equals to 0. Okay, whether you shift to the right or to the left, look at the value of x. Okay, so here I'm giving you a simple one, 1 over 3 minus x, okay. It's related to f of x by writing here, I factorized -1, so I have x minus 3, so I know that I reflect horizontally and I shift 3 units to the right, okay. By looking at the function, you can tell what transformation is involved. So reflected horizontally, shifted 3 units to the right, or translated 3, 0. So I'm giving this simple one because to show that when you reflect, Okay, the asymptote remain the same. Only just the curve is being reflected. Okay, but when you shift 3 units to the right, make sure you shift the asymptotes too. So ramai pelajar tak forget about the asymptotes. Okay, and then make sure you at least write down the y-intercept. Okay, to show the final sketch of the graph. Okay, so the domain is x, all x in R. Okay, notice that here x cannot be 3 because that's the asymptote. For range y is R, y cannot be 0. Okay. Please take note here, in STPM there's no objective question, but I have to give you this objective question. It's like Peggy say, it's difficult to write. Okay, difficult to show your sketch on the chat box. Subjective semua ya, all subjective question in STPM. Okay, next. Here is mix. We have 2 over x plus 1. Negative lah 2, so there's a reflection vertically. There's a stretching by 2 units. Translation by -1, 1. Okay, by looking at the function, you can straight away tell. Okay, stretch vertically 2 units. Tapi dia terbalik ya sebab dia ke bawah. But you stretch, it must be nearer to the y-axis. Okay, and then you reflect vertically. Terbalikkan je. And then shift 1 unit to the left. So you have to shift the asymptote 1 unit to the left and shift 1 unit upwards. You have to shift the horizontal asymptote 1 unit on top. Okay, so now we shift the curve 1 unit to the left and 1 unit upwards. So make sure you write down the x and y intercept. Okay, that's the full complete marks. Tak banyak, normally just 2 marks, but you need this later on in your calculus. Okay, so domain is for all x in R, x cannot be -1. Range for all y in R, y cannot be 1. So for rational B, take note, you have to translate also the vertical and horizontal asymptote. Okay, here, how to do this? Suddenly it doesn't look like rational function to me. This is an improper fraction, okay? Please convert this to proper fraction. Either you use the adjustment method or you use the long division method. So whatever method you use, you must get this. Okay, hari itu dah buat. -1 plus 2 over 4 minus x. Okay, what does it mean here? 2 means stretching 2 units upwards. 4 minus x means you 4 units to the right. Minus 1 means 1 unit downwards. Okay, semua dah ada tu, saya dah tulis. Stretch vertically with factor 2. Okay, teknik menjawab, straight away tulis y equal 2 over x. Sama je. Okay. Okay, and then you reflect horizontally. Okay. Next we shift it 4 units right. Okay. And then 1 unit downwards. So make sure the asymptote is also translated 1 unit downwards. So we have domain x in R, x cannot be 4, y in R, y cannot be -1. So don't panic if you see fraction in this form is actually a rational function. That is just that it's not a proper fraction, okay, improper. Okay, next. Okay, what about 1 over x squared? Okay, so the curve, both curves is on top of the x-axis. The domain is for all x in R, x cannot be 0. It only has, still the asymptote is still the same. Vertical asymptote x equals 0, horizontal y equals 0, but the end behavior is different. X tends to infinity, y tends to 0, x tends to, y tends to 0. It's an even function. So even function, when you reflect horizontally, is the same shape. So again, you have to identify where is your A, where is your B, where is your D. C and D. The same transformation applied, but you must identify where is your A, B, C and D. Okay, this is very important. Okay, if you don't want to use the factorization method, straight away we can use the concept, whatever expression for the denominator equals 0, that is the horizontal shift. Okay, but please take note, the 1 over x squared ni. Some students confuse 1 over x squared minus 4. Actually, this is the inverse of a quadratic function. Okay, when you see inverse like this, we have to use the derivative method. That is the calculus method to sketch. Okay, why? Because we have here the turning point. So do not get confused. 1 over x squared minus 4 is not the same as 1 minus x minus 4 squared. Okay, lain tak sama. And 1 over x squared minus 4 is not the same as 1 over x squared minus 4. Okay? So when you see 1 over x squared with something, meaning that you have to use the derivative method. Okay? Which I already mentioned in SEM 2. Okay, now let's look. Mixture, 2x minus 1 squared. When we see 2x means is a compression, factor half, minus 1 means 2x minus 1 means shifted to the right half unit, plus 3 means shift upwards 3. If you can tell now the transformation by just looking, okay? Okay. If you can tell the transformation by just looking at the function, meaning that you already understood the lesson, and if you can sketch by not showing the relationship between h of x and f of x is good because you know how the graph looks like. Okay, first we compress, meaning that it must be, kalau horizontally, it must be near the y-axis. Okay, shift half unit to the right. So make sure the asymptote is shift half unit to the right and translate 3 units upwards. Okay, so you have to shift your asymptote 3 units upward, then you shift your curve and make sure all the important points are stated. And as what's mentioned, make sure you state the asymptote lines, y equal 3, x equal half, so that when you mention the domain and range is easy. Domain is for all x in R, x cannot be half. Range of h for all y in R, y must be greater than 3. Okay, so actually, the same transformation is the same for every function, but for with different function, different shape, itu je. So next here, we have negative 2 over x plus 4 squared minus 1. Okay, this I think is the last one. Okay, the relationship between f of x is that you reflect vertically negative, stretch vertically 2, you translate 4 units to the left and 1 unit downwards. Okay, I'm correct. Okay, shifted vertically with factor 2. Okay, reflect vertically, okay, across the x-axis, and then you shift 4 units to the left and 1 unit downwards. So make sure the asymptotes are also shifted 1 unit downward. So this is your okay. So this is your final graph, and this is the domain and range. Okay, so like I said, I already given you all the paragraph or notes. So you look at the notes and see, okay, and try to apply all the transformation learned today. Okay, then like Teacher Im always does, she will produce a video to complete the solution. So I think I have to do that. I will do an extra video to show you the rest of the answer for the exponential function, for the logarithmic function, and the modulus function, because the most important function is the reflection. Okay, modulus f of x. I think we have only about 1 minute. Tak boleh kan Teacher Im? Tak apalah. I think I'll do that in a video. Okay, so
maybe you can do the modulus one first.
yeah, the modulus one. This I'm trying to find the modulus one. Okay, ini tak mustahil sangat this one. And this one is always being asked in the exam.
Yes, the modulus graph is always comes out for the exam.
Okay, so this is the modulus graph, y equal modulus f of x. Okay, the transformation senang saja, is simple, just reflect the negative portion of the curve, the negative portion only, some say in the x-axis, some say on the x-axis. Okay, my preposition is not that good. Yeah, some say in the x-axis, some say on the x-axis. Okay, so when you see the modulus sign ln x, so you must get to know the shape of ln x. So you have to sketch the graph first. Okay, ln x. So modulus means you have to reflect the negative portion, okay, to the top. Okay, we have no negative portion. So this is your modulus ln x. Okay, so after that you can apply modulus ln x plus 1 ke, minus 1 ke, minus 2 you can apply. Okay, but make sure you know how we reflect the negative portion of the curve. Next, domain is for all x in R, y is greater equal 0. Okay, here we have x cubed minus x. So there's no parent function, okay? Thank you, Cikgu Faiza. Okay, x cubed minus x, okay? So first you need to sketch the curve x cubed minus x. So we go back to basic, find the roots or the zeros of the cubic function. So the zeros are x are 0, 1, negative 1. So cubic function, that's why it's very important that you must know the shape, okay? So here it goes from first quadrant and goes to the fourth quadrant. So how do we reflect? Remember, it's in the x-axis. Reflect it in the x-axis. Must be a sharp reflection. Okay? There's no curvy here kat situ. And the joint here is not a curved joint. Okay? Make sure it's sharp here. So sometimes, okay? Sometimes it, some students make it macam a U shape kat sini, that's incorrect, yeah. They buat U shape sini. It's not a smooth connection, it's a sharp point, okay. Okay, last one. Domain is for all x. Notice that the domain and the range are the same because it's a modulus function. It's always y greater equals 0. Okay, the last one. Okay, you can use the old school method, form 5 method. This is the completing the square form, okay? So we know that negative 2 is a maximum curve, cuts the point, and the maximum point, this is completing the square form, so maximum point is 1, 8, form 5 method, yeah? Cuts at 0, 6, okay? And when x is 0, when y is 0, x is negative 1, x is 3. So I have done the curve here. It's a maximum curve, okay? Cuts at x 0, 6, and x negative 1, x 3. Okay, now, so modulus means you just reflect the negative portion in the x-axis. So that is your function. So the domain is for all x in R, y greater equal 0. And you can use transformation too, if you want. Okay, but it's quite tedious. Fx is stretched vertically, with factor 2 reflected vertically, go downward. Okay, shifted 1 unit to the right and shift 8 units upwards. Boleh juga. So it's going to be tedious. Y equal x squared. You stretch vertically, naik atas, and then you reflect vertically, goes downward. And then you shift 1 unit to the right, and then you shift 8 unit upward. Boleh. You get the same shape. Okay, then you put the modulus sign. Modulus means you reflect the negative portion of the graph on top in the x-axis. Okay, I think that's all. So hopefully you have learned something, and then when you do area under the curve or volume of solid revolution, you can straight away sketch the curve without hesitation, okay? For graph sketching, normally for volume and area, just to identify the portion, the region. But for chapter 1, the function is always they ask sketch the function. Okay, so this is how we sketch the function. Okay, later on I will try. So give me some time to complete the video because the slide is there. So all I need to do is the voice over and to share with you. Please check on my channel. Hopefully Monday onwards lah. Okay, I think that's about all. Thank you students for watching. Before I forget, it's already the semester break. So I wish all of you happy semester break. So don't forget hashtag kita jaga kita, be safe And don't forget to do your revision. Your SEM 2 is coming up soon, exam. So all the best in your exam. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe my channel, not only my channel, but to my friends here in the Conti, okay, because all of them are giving you the best in order for you to do well in your STPM. Okay, back to you, Madam Rosmaya.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Zana. Okay, with God's grace, we have reached the end of today's session. Okay, congratulations to those who are able to follow our session from the beginning till the end. So before we end our session for today, I will announce first the last digit code, the fourth or the last digit code for credit claim. Okay, the digit number is 2. Okay, I repeat, the digit number is 2. Okay, so all of you, please stop posting your comments for a while, and if you haven't clicked the subscribe button, please do so. Make sure it turns to grey color, okay, not the red color, and activate the icon bell too, so that you will not miss the next class session. Okay? Then if you find that the lesson was beneficial, so click like and share to your friends on your social media. Spread and share the goodness. Okay, once completed, type done on the chat box before the certificate link is given as a token of thank you for your dedication in joining the free online class today. Okay, so link for the certificate and link to credit claim are already given in the chat box. Okay, please take note, the link will end half an hour after this live, and make sure to use the EDD email or more email only to log in. Incorrect email used will not be entertained. If you haven't got one, please apply. Okay, the link to apply the EDD email is also given in the chat box. Okay. So if you wish to get more information on the online classes, go to www.academyyoutuber.com. And to those who haven't joined EDD Junior Telegram, please do so. So once again, I would like to thank all of the students for joining today. Remember that the more classes you join, the more credit you can claim. So feel free to share this free tuition class to your friends and teachers all over Malaysia. So this is a collective effort from all the teachers throughout Malaysia for all the students throughout the country. So thank you too for being a YouTuber Academy supporter too. So I think that's all for now. See you in another session. Ingat hashtag bermula percuma, selamanya percuma. Assalamualaikum. Stay safe. Till we meet again next week, same day, same time, on Saturday at 5 p.m. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you all. All of you are awesome.
Wow, banyaknya hadiah menarik menanti anda. Wah, kini Akademi YouTuber mengambil inisiatif baru di mana memberikan hadiah-hadiah ini secara percuma. Ya, percuma kepada anda semua. Bagaimana caranya? Dengan mengikuti kelas tuition online percuma Akademi YouTuber sambil mengutip mata kredit, anda dapat menukarkannya dengan hadiah-hadiah yang menarik ini. Tunggu apa lagi? Segalanya percuma. Jangan lepaskan peluang tau. Dah dapat banyak hadiah menarik, takkan nak lepaskan peluang. Layari www.academyyoutuber.com sekarang untuk maklumat lanjut.
Dibawakan kepada anda oleh Akademi YouTuber.